Hi, I'm Ben Ryan, Olympic gold medal winning rugby coach, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
Coming up next on Rugby Wrap Up, the Rugby World Cup Sevens.
This Rugby Wrap Up from the Road segment brought to you in part by AFIA Sports Training Group, Friends of the British Council, USA Eagles Tours, and HSBC.
Everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap Up. Matt McCarthy at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City. But right now, we're going to use editing magic with Johnny Lewis, the mad Welshman living in England. And I'm going to be simultaneously in San Francisco at the Rugby World Cup Sevens. Check it out.
Although this is probably not going to air until after the tournament's over, Ben, who's going to win this tournament?
Well, can we do two cuts then? First, I definitely predict an American win, so that's cut one. And then we go, well, they did really well, and, it's a bit early for them, but maybe the next World Cup. So I'm an ambassador, and I go and meet some great people. I kind of try and be a bit of a missionary and sell the game to as many people. But like as soon as people get to see the game, they kind of buy into it. It's a simple game. It's fast. It's exciting. You get upsets. The game's not won or lost normally till the last 30 seconds.
Right.
It's an easy game to love, and and make it even better. We're here in new territory, effectively.
What do you think of the one-off format here?
See, I'm a fan because
you are.
Yeah, I am. I talked about this morning because non-traditionalists don't like it, right? And it's edgy, and you get upsets. A bit like Ned Haig when he decided that we weren't going to play 15s, we were going to play 7s in Melrose because he wanted to make some money and have it around a fair and a tour with other teams. He started up 7s and we went from there now. And what we've got to remember is that was innovative back then. Let's not stop making changes and trying things. And 7s has got the ability to do that, and a bit like a startup, fail fast. Do this. If this format doesn't work, fine, we'll bin it. But we need a shorter variation. The game itself is perfect, but there's so many of them that even if you're a keno watching 50 games this weekend, that's a big ask to be excited about every game. We need to convince.
Speak for yourself.
Hey, were you in a special club then? If everyone,
I am in a very special club for other reasons.
So it's kind of let's certainly the business end. That last 2-3 hours of the game, of the tournament, that needs to be quick fire. That needs to be. You don't want to have these plate competitions chucked in and 8th, 9th, 7th, 6th place. Frankly, that doesn't. It's about knockout. Sport's about winning and losing effectively, and I like this.
Not the same.
Been blind since I was 4, and I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste, and my beer's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
And we are back at Rugby Wrap Up on the road here at AT&T Park in San Francisco. And again, we're surrounded by superstars, and there's none bigger than the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Zack Test. Zack, welcome to Rugby Wrap Up.
It's good to be here. I've been waiting a long time to do this with you.
Now you're here.
Yes.
At the Rugby World Cup Sevens.
Yes.
How did you bring your cleats? Is there any temptation?
Oh, I mean, the itch is really real. I would give my left hand to play again. I would give anything to play again. But no, it's amazing to see rugby growing in the United States, and here's the World Cup.
the film, The Pioneers.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about that a little bit.
I thought it was a phenomenal film. I think Bruce, Zoom Fiji, HSBC Sport did an amazing job portraying the day-in-day life of what the boys go through and the sacrifices they made, and that they are the pioneers of the sport in America. And
well, you are a big part of that too.
yeah, I was, and a lot of other guys, Nick Edwards, Matt Hawkins, Chris Wiles, Todd Clever. I mean, there's a lot of us that paved the way, but the fact that we're succeeding now just makes us so proud that we've been able to pave the way and build the building blocks for their success.
Well, listen, I appreciate your time coming on here.
It's great to be on the first time with you. It's the first time doing this.
First of many times to come.
Here we are at the Rugby World Cup, giving you guys a show.
On that note, you can't follow anything that Mr. Zack Test, the legend, the myth, the man, right here on Rugby Wrap-Up. Rugby World Cup 7, San Francisco, 2018, in the books. Spectacular. Spectacular all 3 days of it. Can't wait for the next one. And if you missed this, you got to watch it or read about it or something and be at the next one. On that note, Matt McCarthy, on behalf of Calder Cahill, who is holding this camera, from AT&T Park in San Francisco for Rugby Wrap-Up, meeting you back in New York.
And just like that, we're back in New York City. Isn't that great? And on that note, we're out of time. Our executive producer downstairs is barking at us. So on behalf of everybody out in San Francisco at the Sevens World Cup, I'm Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap-Up here in New York City at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34, signing off. And again, this Rugby Wrap-Up from the Road segment brought to you in part by AFIA Sports Training Group, Friends of the British Council, USA Eagles Tours, and HSBC.